Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Robbie B, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher, Stephen Four, Mike Haspel, and Sean Neeb. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog.
Yo, what's happening, everybody?
How are you now?
Here we go again.
The full Monty.
Is that a penis joke? Isn't that referencing a penis?
It is.
Per penis joke out the gate.
The half a Monty. That's what we equal together.
Or all five lions.
So, look, I've been patiently waiting. I've got this amazing Rob story to tell about Rob. It's not really that amazing, but it was impressive for me. So we're doing a tournament at the Beats Lab here recently. Had almost 30 people show up. And we walk right next door to us. In all reality, a really good Chinese buffet, like walking distance, arm reach, pretty good Chinese food, right? So we walk over as a group, doing our thing. We're sitting down, get our food, and it's like traditional tournament days, right, Kenny, where, you don't wait on the whole group of 18 or 20. You like, hey, first 3 or 4 ready, y'all just go ahead and go, right? You're building the table, and people are just coming the whole time. That's another penis joke. So Rob walks in, gets his plate, and next thing I know, we're in the middle of listening to a story on how somebody's round went, and I look over, and I'm like, I make a mental note, and I'm like, damn, Rob, that's a respectable amount of food. What the? Are you high? Like, what's going on? Like, that is a mound of food.
It was
Rob
a plate.
there. It was a man's plate. I was like, okay, all right. So I didn't say anything, didn't call my man out, just going back, listening to the story, right? And Rob disappears for a few minutes, and he comes back, and it's like another quality size man plate of food. First off, never seen Rob Bear go to a buffet twice. His second plate almost had as much food. And then we're at a Chinese buffet who still puts sushi and shit like that.
Yeah, I was like, that's where they fucked up. They put sushi on the bar, and I'm like,
right?
oh.
So Rob Bear's got a monkey dish, just a little side dish full of like a ridiculous amount, like 2 tablespoons
wasabi.
Wasabi.
I know.
And then he pours like 1, 2,
he makes a paste. Enough. He has a thing.
It's like I'm talking about, like, it is a paste, bro.
You can't be around it. It's too much. It's mustard.
No, it's too much. Oh, dude, it's powerful.
Oh.
And so either way, I'm looking. It's not gross or anything, but I'm looking. And until finally, I'm like, I gotta compliment Rob on his food. I look over, I'm like, damn, Rob, you are killing it today. Great job. And then as I'm saying it, a single tear is rolling down Rob's face. And I'm like, and his face is turning red. And it's not because of my words. He's like, that last one got me. I was like, motherfucker, you are eating napalm, bro. Like, what is actually happening? You are eating liquid magma.
He did it twice when we were in Vegas. When we were at STK, like the best steakhouse in Vegas with Wyatt. Wyatt gets the Kobe, like literally $160 for this much beef. We get a couple of Wagyu flat irons because we're not as balling as him. Wyatt gets a flat iron, a Wagyu and a Kobe. But I also get oysters to go with it. So I got my oysters and I eat them all, but I save one for Rob. And I'm like, here you go, Rob. Here's the horseradish and everything. He's like, wow, all the horseradish. It's like, whoa, snacked it out of his hands. Like, Rob, that's like a tablespoon
that might hurt you.
Of legit horseradish. And he looked at me like I didn't understand, I guess. He was just like, Dick, I can do whatever I want. I'm a grown-ass man. But he appeases me and he eats it like a regular person. Then we get the Kobe. Only Wyatt ordered it. It's the best thing ever. Juice, I don't know if you had it, but it's not.
Not gonna lie, I'm sad I haven't. And
it's cost prohibitive. It's like $40 an ounce. It's crazy. $48 an ounce. But I would describe it as like beef sushi. Is like it's not tartare or anything. It's just super rare, and they present it to you with like some fresh wasabi and soy sauce. And my man Wyatt was gracious enough to make sure me and Rob got a single bite of his king's dish. And
Wyatt's a good guy. I don't care what you guys say about him.
Yep. And same thing. Rob just grabs a fucking spoonful of that wasabi, and we're like, okay. And he's like, I can't. He's like, I can't taste. I can't smell. Therefore, I can't taste. This is the minimum required for me to have tastes.
It tastes delicious, by the way.
He like wrapped that joint around. I mean, like a thumb-sized amount of wasabi that would kill anyone.
Yeah, I'm talking about. You know what happens when you have a color and then you introduce black into it? It's just all black now. Like there's no levels to this shit. It just black trumps all.
Your question is, how much more black can it get? And the answer is none. None more black.
Let me tell you, this was the greenest black I've ever seen in my life. Hassel, true story. It was a green paste. I mean, unbelievable. Either way, so I wanted to shout out 2 steps. A, Robbie B is a beast of men because he can put down horseradish like it's going out of style. And 2, let's all welcome Robbie B to the man-sized eating area. And I said, Rob, why are you eating so much? He was like, the desert. The desert spoiled me. I was like, say no more.
So dry. It was so dry.
He had unlimited food while he stayed with us. So
no, I mean, I can't complain about anything. Like I had plenty of everything, but as much as you ate and as much as you drank, it was just still dry. It's just so dry.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm finally back on the podcast after LVO. I have to throw Wyatt under the bus now.
What did Wyatt do?
I told him I was going to do this. Thursday night, is that when we rolled in? We went.
You got hammered, right?
So hard, Juice. So hard.
Oh, I heard you guys so late.
It's happening, Jack and Klaus. I'm sorry. So hard. I mean, we're up drinking. He met Arthur for the first time. Him and Arthur are just jabber-jawing nonstop because Arthur and him are really getting along with the military history stuff. And it's like 2, 3 in the morning. And like, and I brought 2 gallons of bourbon. And my man Wyatt's just pouring, bourbon and cokes and just nonstop because, you're getting excited and it's flowing. At one point where we're doing it, where everything's fine, it's perfect. He looks over at us. He's like, should give you guys all warning. I have drank too much. It's going to get real.
At least he was adult about it.
It might be the most epic intro to anything. It's about to get real.
And as a caveat, real talk is like being friends with Wyatt now for several years. He's in a wheelchair, military background. He's awesome. Love that dude. But I've gotten to know what it's like being friends with somebody in a wheelchair and how the world perceives that person and how little the average person gives a shit about somebody in a wheelchair. And so I've come to understand a lot of things and why it's also super tough, doesn't ask for help, doesn't need it. I've seen that man get into my truck. He can't use those shit bar because it'll break because my truck's garbage. I've seen him just grab that lip with his thumb and forefingers and pull himself in the truck. I mean, dude's totally self-sufficient, doesn't ask for help, nothing. This was him. Like, this is 7 years of like the toughest dude ever. This was him saying, you're going to need to help me. It's going to get bad. And I was like, immediately on red alert because I've never basically heard that tone from him. Right? I was like, oh shit, panicking because this is not like a guy taking care of a guy who got drunk. This is a guy who's an 8 or 9 on drunk himself. Me. Now having to take care of my
now
boy,
you have responsibility.
who is like a 27 now on drunk. So the panic was so real. And I'm not gonna throw you too hard under the bus, but I'm not gonna tell him the graphic details of the next 3 hours of our life. But I will fast forward past that to he's sleeping in my bed that night, and I brought him back to his room in the morning.
There it is.
But
that's what it is,
and
though.
we got 2 hours of sleep, and we're in there. And I do all this one thing where I'm holding this face, and I'm like, make yourself throw up right now. And I was like, oh, you're not playing 40K tomorrow? And he's like, oh, did it. And so...
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
And
yes, sir.
2 hours of sleep, a Monster Energy later, change of clothes. We're in there playing games for 12 hours.
Fucking
that was day 1. That was day 0.5.
Yeah, half the day.
Kenny is Kenny won't lie. Kenny's the best host. Look at that.
Yeah. Karahi. That's the best, man.
Pretty sure I was asleep by like 10 o'clock that night.
we were having our own personal reenactment of the Hangover movie in our fucking hotel room until 4 in the morning.
Well, that's what everybody was saying. They're like, wait, so you're gonna fly to Hollywood and then you're gonna drive to Vegas? I was like, Yeah. It's fine. You just drive through the desert. It's fine. Everybody does it. There's movies about it. Nothing bad happens.
Oh, it was a good old time. Let me just say, hanging out with friends. Obviously, first and foremost, always the best part of going to one of these conventions. 100%. We got to do a lot of things, interact with a lot of old schoolers. I got to hang out with like OG Marshall, Dr. Bruce came by.
Dr. Bruce.
I believe he iced me. I can't prove it, but I wonder if he'll take ownership of it if he's watching. He came by kind of looking at me and he was like, "Hey man, I heard I could Smirnoff ice you." Like all like nerdy about it. And I was like, "It don't work that way, Bruce. You don't get to just give me a Smirnoff ice. You have to be clever about it." He's like, "Oh, okay, I understand." He's like, "Well, I brought this," and he brought like a 16-ounce bottle of Gentleman's Jack.
That'll work.
I was like, "I'm sorry that I came at you that way, Bruce. Thank you so much." And we shared a few drinks. 3 hours later, I'm playing my second round opponent. Introduced myself. He already knew who I am because he's a fan of the show. He listens to the podcast, watches the videos. He's like, "Hey man, what's up? Great to finally play you. We're doing our thing." I was like, "Oh, let me reach in and grab my tape measure." Reach in, it's a fucking Smirnoff Ice in my bag. And I look around like, did anyone see this? And I'm getting ready to put it back in there. He's like, "Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you have to drink that?"
Oh, yeah.
It says right here in
That's
the code of conduct policy, bruh.
I was like, "You son of a bitch." And I
Should have taken the 2 yellow cards.
Yeah. It was like, you can get red carded for that, bro.
I was like, pop that top. Drink that son of a bitch. Dr. Bruce. You son of a bitch.
Speaking of folks that we met at the LVO, Brendan Clark gave us a donation last week while we were hobo streaming and see the alert. So I told him we'd give him a shout out this week. So thank you, Brendan.
I did got, but that was probably the pinnacle of my LVO experience outside of being able to be in the same room with Sean Dean.
We were in the same room.
Couple times.
I was in the hallway when Wyatt got to the hotel. Wyatt and I went out, had a nice little Wahlburgers for lunch when he first got there. Couple gamers, we're hanging out.
Just doing our thing. Oh, and also I think
time.
I accidentally made GW think that I hate them. During the preview. We get in the preview, front row. I exploit my friendship with Wyatt to get that front row seat. They're like,
wheelchair thing.
They're like, "Hey everybody, what's up, man? Turn your phones off." Like 8 seconds later, I get up and leave. And I'm like, that probably looked really bad. But it's because my dog, because people were asking, Saren got sick 5 minutes before the GW preview. She's throwing a blood, but I had to take her to the emergency vet. And like, they're like, "Turn your phones off." And I was like, I can't not have access to my phone right now. Like, Bonet might call me any second. You know what I mean? So then like, that's why I left. But I'm like, I got up in the front row, walked across everyone and left like right when that dude said that shit. I was like, that looks bad. Looks like a salty ass bitch.
I was interacting a lot with the GW guys running the stream all weekend, and they were great guys.
Yeah, they're all good guys.
They actually heard about my dog and came back and asked about her.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was all cool. Like I was like, "Oh, sweet."
Who was
how about that new Primaris Lieutenant though?
Oh, it's the one we always wanted.
The one we always wanted.
The dark one?
Yeah. The dark one. Indeed.
Yes.
So good. I have a lot of theories about that new chaos stuff. Like, I would be you want to hear my bold gluten-free gut check predictions? First of all, the big like countdown's 13 days away. It's March 5th, and that's like 13 days from now, which is kind of epic in its own way. But do you remember Dark Imperium came out, and then we got like the Dark Imperium half boxes, and then they're like 3 months later we got
and they showed on No Fear.
Yeah. But then we got Death Guard multi-part, and then we got Primaris multi-parts. So everybody was like, "Oh, dang. I got to buy this now," right? Well, they've been showing us all this stuff, but that's not necessarily like all in one box, right? Because they'd be stupid to put Abaddon in that box. Let's be real. People are going to buy it separate. Or they could put it in there, and then they could make they could make a big character on the Primaris side, right? and then it'd be like $200 for that box. If they're gonna try to up the price on their bundle boxes, this is the box to do it. But so far we've seen 4 Chaos units, we've seen 2 Space Marines. So, but we know there may or may not be more Chaos Space Marines in there, and there may or may not be possessed / mutilator obliterators. So they could, in theory, put out the mini half boxes early, then put out the big box, or put out the big box and then the mini box.
How about those obliterators?
It's everything we've ever wanted.
Now, as a guy
you sounded like you were just about to cry.
As a guy who has 9 obliterators on a shelf that he painstakingly converted and made beautiful, does it? I feel this way, so I'm wondering if it feels. I just want to throw them in the trash. Like, these new ones,
they look great, but I do not like how they have the different weapons. Like, I feel like as a converter, I would want, oh, this guy's got all plasma, or oh, this guy's got all heavy bolters. But the design and the actual poses and stuff look amazing.
But it supports the current fluff, which is flesh metal weapons. They're not.
Yeah, I guess.
I think that's what they always were. But it's like they just said they just mimic the stats of things. But now we're just generating the stats. You know what I mean? Like, so I think they play to the flesh metal experience more.
I don't want to judge.
And they look like ectoplasma cannons. Like,
yeah, there's been an ectoplasma cannon rumor engine too. I don't want to judge any model before I get it in my hands, because even when you see the G-Dub painted model pick, like look at Sanguinius, he looked 100 times better with the base.
Yeah, way better.
Like the Storm Raven, even people hate. Remember the Storm Raven came out? People hated the Storm Raven.
I laughed all
still
over the bank. Oh, yeah. Good. Haspel converted me my first Storm Raven when everyone was like, Storm Ravens are going to be like they're going to be the new heat, and we didn't have pictures yet. He made me one, and then I proceeded to just crush them week after week with, and he hates them forever now. I was the first guy who had one at my tournament scene.
Yeah, I created a pretty cool one, but literally like that's the same thing, like a terrible mod. Say, dude, Centurions.
Everyone was a hater on those too. That's right.
Teletubbies. So
I just feel like you got to give stuff a little bit of time. And going off the preview picks, I can't 100% say yes. I'm cautiously optimistic they are going to be super dope, but I want to see more.
Agreed.
100%. So I guess we can do tabletop market.
So break it down.
We got plenty of stuff. So this weekend it's limited edition figure, exclusive figure, limited 3 per stores, independent stores. Not sure how many the G-Dub stores are going to get. The Severinia Rain, the female commissar miniature, that's fine cast, and she's coming out in her limited edition box. Don't know if they're going to do another run of her like they did Marbo and Eisenhorn and all that, but she'll be available at least 3 per store for $35 US. I think, because GW was showing previews, they may be for sale on GW site next week. But I guess they're letting stores have it early, and then the Black Library Celebration, apparently you can get them there as well. Kind of cool. Nice little exclusive. Also coming out this week is the dreaded Ambull, which has 40K rules. You can play them in any army in 40K, and we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But that is a $60 box set, comes with all the pieces you need to actually play him in Blackstone Fortress. He's got 2 little grub characters that come with him too that you can field for 12 points each. And maybe the coolest thing about it, if you're really into Blackstone Fortress and you're like, oh man, I've already played it a bunch, I've got it all conquered, it comes with a Crackerjack prize in there too. So just like once you beat the boss in Blackstone Fortress proper, if you beat the dreaded Ambull, you get another like little card pack. It sounds like it's got a lot of stuff in there. So that's pretty cool. First, kind of expansion of its kind. So that comes out this week. And there's a carrying case, which I think is actually bigger because it's $60 as opposed to $35. So that's kind of neat. Those will all release this weekend. And then what is it? Next week is 2 new start collecting boxes. You've got the Idonis Deepkin and the Nurgle Maggotkin. And what's cool about these is that they contain different units that didn't come in the battle forces this year. So, for instance, with the Deepkin, you get the Eels, which are actually really, really good in Age of Sigmar. They do like impact hits that cause mortal wounds. So a lot of people take multiple squads of these things. So it's in the thrills as well. Are also
Rob, if I'm not mistaken, did it happen last week or this coming up week? Pretty much all start collecting boxes across the board went up.
Yeah, they all went up to at least $90 or $95. All of them, along with the paints, which went up to like $465 for the normal 12 milliliter paint pots.
Yeah, and I think the other ones went up to like $815. Is that right, or $785, something like that?
I think I want to say it was a quarter, whatever it was.
Yeah,
they're up. Everything went up a quarter, or yes,
$90 for some of those start collections. Is not good, but still, on the other hand, some of those other ones are just fucking. The Tau one, oh my goodness, dude! The Tau one, you get a squad of 3 crisis suits. Those crisis suits alone are like $80, right? Like you're getting an Ethereal and Fire Warriors for basically $10. So,
yeah,
I can't wait for the GSC one. I know we talked about it last week.
Usually they go a year, give or take. That's what they did with Deathwatch. And Idoneth actually was announced. The first announcement for the Deepkin was basically 13 days, a year, 13 days in the future, in the past, whatever you want to call that. 350 some days ago, they announced Deepkin. So it's been a year. That's another thing I meant to say too with the whole chaos. New boxes coming out. Gamma is actually on the 11th of March. Gamma is always a couple weeks before Adepticon, it seems like. And GW always has been dropping previews there too. So we might get a double dip of previews plus whatever comes out at Adepticon. Like, I don't even know. There's going to be so much going on in March, like all the things and all the previews, or maybe they'll just elaborate on some. It's really hard to say, but it's a super exciting time. If you're a fan of the Crime Solving Vault too, there's a new Chambers board pack that's coming out next week. It's $25. But I think the big thing about that is that the positioning of the start tiles, it makes it a little prohibitive sometimes for start. You're starting. You're already going to get got.
What are you talking about? Shade what?
Shade Speezy.
Haspel, you still playing? You played any Shade Speezy lately?
I haven't played anything since April. not like miniatures tabletop. Sorry.
It's been
rough. It's been rough. No, honestly, I play like a half hour of Overwatch. That's it. It's sad.
You just had an amazing piece of news 5 minutes ago, and you just came back from your amazing. We're going to talk about your convention in a minute. I want you to bring that passion on that convention, Rob. Rob, finish that out, and then bring Haspel in for that convention.
That's actually everything from GW. Coming out this week for Legion 2 is Jyn Erso and Rebel Commandos. So if you're in the Legion, good releases this week. Standard pricing. Commander, I think, is $12.
Legion is the Star Wars one, right?
Yeah. And the squad box is $24.95. I think that's everything on my radar as far as miniatures goes this week. I'm always...
Don't fuck it up, Rob.
There it is. That's it. Put my stamp of approval on it. Haspel, tell us about your everything we need to know.
Yeah, so I went to a symposium called LTUE in Provo, Utah, called it stands for Life, the Universe, and Everything. And it is kind of a writer's symposium, but it also has stuff for game creators, for content creators. They had stuff about Patreon, about Twitch, about Kickstarter. But it's a smaller convention, so if you want to go there and kind of rub elbows with Brandon Sanderson or Larry Carrier or Mary Kowal, they're all there, and people are. It's not like a Comic-Con where they're being mobbed. It's just they're just chilling out at the in the hotel lobby. You can just go and talk to them, and it's a really effective thing. I think I went to like close to 30 panels in 3 days or something. I was pretty burnt out. Played a great game called Pitch Storm. Played some D&D. But yeah, that was literally like the first gaming, like tabletop gaming I've done in almost a year. It's been a bad year. And then on the other front, my other podcast, the Quantum Froth Dispatches, QFD for short. We normally don't do Warhammer 40K, but we actually did do a Warhammer 40K episode, episode 25 this week. So if you guys are interested, I talk about the origins of 40K, kind of where it came from, and my favorite 30K stories and 40K stories. So it's pretty cool. So you can go check it out. It's out there.
On Patreon.
Awesome.
Don't forget your paywall.
Huh?
Don't forget your
Oh, well, it's out there for free though. So you can just pay me if you feel like it.
I do. I pay you.
Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. You get it early. So
how else am I supposed to get my Wrath of Khan breakdown
Fix.
over 60 hours?
Hey, I told you guys I was going to talk about Star Trek, and I was going to tell you the true story
For an undefined length of time, yes.
for an undefined length of time.
Haskell, it's not too late to jump in on Discovery. Then season 2, it's legit.
I'm not going to pay CBS, man. They treated some of my friends very, very poorly.
It's true.
It's a principle thing. It has nothing to do with money. It's a principle thing. It's just flat out.
I don't agree with that either. I know what happened, and I don't agree with it.
Just watch the Orville. It's better.
It's better, and it's the spiritual successor.
Yep.
If
If you are interested in watching Star Trek, it is good writing.
I'm sure it's pretty good. The 2 episodes that I saw, I thought were all right. There were some problems that I had some problems with it, like that the writers obviously don't understand faster than light. Like you can't turn on a light bulb beacon, and have people solar systems away see it. That doesn't work that way.
It was really bright, Haskell.
It had some brighter. It was brighter. It doesn't matter. You guys went to the school of JJ physics. It doesn't work that way. If you try to use a transporter to beam on a starship in warp, you're going to wind up in space because the transporter uses electromagnetic radiation
Or you just
that travels at the speed of light.
Buffer now for light forever.
Yeah. And they tried to go, trans warp. No, you're an idiot. Watch the movies. Do your research.
They've been
do your
traveling
homework.
a warp for like half a day, bro. You're fucked.
Yeah, you're sucking vacuum. See, I said on my show, I won't talk about J.J. Abrams. I didn't say anything about it on this show.
Nice.
But yeah,
I'm glad that went well for you, Haspel.
It went well. It was good. It was all right. Got my mandatory Utah speeding ticket on the way home. So that was cool.
Well, I've got one of your fans is sending me something to paint for you.
Oh.
And so it's not going to be a surprise for long because I'll be painting it live.
Oh, sweet. Cool.
Got him.
So in, I believe KTP put together Hero Forge, couple of characters you might know of.
Oh yeah. He kind of gave me a sneak peek. So yeah, those are very, very cool. I didn't see them all though, so I don't know. So this will be exciting.
So he sent them to me. Cool. I agreed to paint them for you as a gift.
Holy cow, man! That's awesome. That's really cool.
We're gonna get our favorite mummy and vampire from Graveyard Shift. That
is awesome.
How funny would it be if he did them and it was literally just an OG mummy and vampire?
It looks like what's his name, the uncle on the Munsters.
Yep.
Brutal.
That would
Graveyard
be
Shift. If you haven't read it, go download it, read it. Let's do a quick commercial break and let's jump into it. I'm ready for our tactics division of our podcast to break down Jesus the Cult and New Assassin Tech after these messages. Finally, the Long War swag is here. LongWarSwag.com, the official home of Long War merchandise. We've got a range of merchandise exclusive to the Long War brand, next level painting and spiky bits. Definitely log in today while supplies lasts. Veterans, I've got news for you. Get your best deals online at dicehead.com. Long War Vets, call or email for your best vet deals. That's dicehead.com. elricshobbies.com is your exclusive portal to upgrading your hobby. When you sign up at thelongwar.net, you gain an instant promotional discount good for 10% off at Elric's Hobbies. elricshobbies.com.
Dear veterans, quickly, make your way to thelongwar.net and find out how to reap your hard-earned spoils of this long war. For our allies at secretweaponsminiatures.com have rewarded us all with an extra 10% discount on all Secret Weapon Miniatures merchandise. So stock up, dear veterans, and enjoy.
And we're back. We're coming into the meat and potatoes section of the podcast. Sean,
I think we have to talk about Ambull too. I said we'd explain it.
We're not talking about Ambull, Rob.
I put Sean in charge of this. He will decide.
So we will touch on the Ambull, though, Rob.
You're lucky, Rob.
What are its rules?
I'm glad you asked, Sean.
Trash. All right, moving on.
Wow.
His good little two buddies are not bad.
His two little buddies, though. His 12-point buddies?
12-point brigade fillers.
12-point brigade fillers, my friends.
What do you want to talk about the mechanic? Like why everybody can take it?
Yeah, explain that to me.
So it's faction keywords unaligned. And from what I could find, the only other thing that was unaligned was for fortifications. So on page 214 in the main rule book, it says all the units in a match play army, with the exception of those that are unaligned, must have at least one faction keyword in common, Imperium or Chaos, example, even though they may be in different detachments. So from that reading, it seems like if these are unaligned, you can include them in any force in the known universe. Yep.
So the Ambull itself, how many points does it cost?
70.
And it's a monster?
It's an elite monster. Yep.
How many wounds? What save?
It's 7 wounds, 3 up save, toughness 6.
Yeah, I mean it's not terrible. For 70 points. Is it good? How fast does it move?
6 inches.
No, it's terrible.
Trash. This guy is
D3 wounds.
He's never going to take D3. He's just going to take 6.
I mean, you said you could pick him up off the board and drop him down within 9 inches and try to make a 9-inch charge.
Yeah.
I'm going to find other things for 70 points in my army.
Yeah. That's basically
12
it.
points for an elite slot. That is interesting because there's some armies that struggle to fill slots, like Custodes, that have expensive things that you can start to make some extra detachments with them just by taking 12-point elite slots. Filling brigades. Every army that's trying to fill the brigade can now take these to fill your brigade cheaper and easier.
Yeah, 12 points for any detachment is unreal. Like, I mean, we're talking...
Break down what the 12 points is. You haven't said that yet.
I guess. Oh, okay, sure. So they're just little grubs. They're on 25 mil bases. They're two wounds, toughness 4, 4 up save.
They're unit size 1 to 2, right?
Unit size 1 to 2. So I guess you could fill out a whole. Yeah, because you can have up to 3 of these, right? Roll 3.
Yeah, 3 squads of 1. Yep.
It's a separate data sheet.
Okay, real quick. Can you also go over the rules for unaligned too, Rob? Like, is the 7th and unaligned fuck up all your special detachment rules, like Custodes is 4++ and vulnerable and stuff like that?
Well, I mean,
I'm sure.
Because it says entirely composed of, right?
Worded.
Yes, I would assume that's how it works.
So that would make it less valuable, but I'm sure there's a couple situations where you might be able to use these, but I would still probably end up using these over the Ambull.
I mean, you can make that
70-point dude has got 0 play. There's literally ways that you can make something happen. If you're going to take a mixed battalion anyway, or a mixed brigade, excuse me, like where you've got maybe 4 different regimental keywords in there. You got this or that. Like, who cares? You're trying to fill a slot, and 12 points is really freaking cheap. I'll tell you this much. I was taking 16-point commissars just because they were the cheapest fucking thing that I could get. I didn't even have 4 extra points to make them platoon commanders. If I had access to this, I would have definitely taken these 3 hobo baggins as well.
But yeah, overall, all the things.
Don't they work
it's
with
interesting
Yannari
that
too? Don't they work? Are they a great choice for Yannari?
Yannari don't end up filling brigades very often anyway, because the cost with troops and heavies and fast is sometimes too high. But yeah, that could be a play for sure, because you get much cheaper elites. The Eldar elites are pretty expensive. But overall, I think a lot of the Blackstone Fortress stuff has been very lackluster in terms of actual application of 40k. I saw somebody using the Tau Kroot guy from Blackstone Fortress at LVO, and that guy, I guess, has some really cool rule tech. But most overall, the Blackstone characters, like the Eldar one, the Ranger, cost as much as a squad of Rangers.
Yeah.
You know?
I really wanted the 2 Ratling characters for the Guard to be so cool, but they legitimately cost the same as a 5 Ratling unit, and they only have 2 sniper rifles. Like, their rules are not solid enough to make up for just losing 3 extra.
But not nearly as cool as the application of the new Assassins rules that got leaked from the upcoming White Dwarf. Now, those are some really cool rules. What do you think about them, Juice?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and say bold statement number 1 of the evening. Every Imperium player, and I mean obviously Guard are going to get better a little bit, whatever. But if you're playing Space Wolves, Dark Angels, Ultramarines, any Blood Angels, any 3+ armor save shit, you have just gotten the biggest diamond in the rough there is. You don't build 2K lists anymore. You build a 1915 list, and you have 5 points and 1 CP to begin every game with to figure out which one of these 4 unicorns you want to add to your army.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about this edition is for 1 CP, if your army has an Imperium Warlord and an Imperium detachment, you can add any of the 4 assassins pre-game to your list. Any one of them for 1 CP.
The applications are
85 points. That's great, because they also added all kinds of strats to make all the assassins better. The Eversor got a fight again strat. The Vindicator got a shoot again strat. The
what's sick too?
Caluxus got a make everybody around him fight last strat. Calidus got the strat to use her command point ability twice. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, every one of the assassins just got better, and also you're able to add this into your army and still have access to stratagems. I thought that they might have been a little janky to say you don't get access to stratagems unless you take a full detachment. Here, you're able to basically take a auxiliary detachment, right? Because that's all that basically what we're saying is I want to take a single assassin in my army. Normally, how rules of 40k and match play work, if you just take one of something, you're going to take a -1 CP to add that just 1 unit into your army, and then you're not going to have access into the stratagems that come along with the book. So if I just wanted to add a single Hive Tyrant to my Gene Stealer Cold Armor, I am taking a -1 CP and I don't get access to stratagems. For 85 points and 1 CP, I get to pick what damn psyker or what assassin I want, and the accompaniment of stratagems that go along with them. No, this is so.
And you still preserve the fact that you can take 3 real detachments. You can still take triple battalion, or
that's right.
Anything that the Imperium does, and so you're net gaining assassins and CP if you were already using assassins.
Yeah, or you're playing Guard, just cut in place before, the next FAQ comes. But like you're playing Knights Guard and Blood Angels, Knights Guard and Space Marines, something like that, right? Death Watch. You just now shave some points and you have a...
Yeah, I think Death Watch definitely picked this up very well, because one of the things we talked about when the Beta Bolter rule came out was that Death Watch would get a huge buff because they were already probably the best shooty Marine build anyway. Now their one major weakness is mortal wounds. So a Caluxus can slot in and start to protect them from some of those mortal wounds. I mean, Kenny played them at LVO, right? They really suffer from that aspect. But a Caluxus fixes that while still being able to take a guard detachment to give CP, while still being able to take maybe some smash captains from Blood Angels to help them with knights. So I think this really starts to round out Imperial lists that even if we look into the future and say maybe the Castellan's about to get a nerf or something in the future, these little builds are going to help shake the new year up with maybe more Marine builds that do better in competitive play, which is amazing.
Yeah. Let's talk about it all simultaneously. Marines get better by having access to all these assassins, and simultaneously the Castellan gets worse. So now all the predators might come out to play a little more when there's not a Castellan out to just auto give them. I'm not going to go down as far to say that a damn Land Raider is going to come back. I don't care how cheap somebody thinks it's going to get, but a Land Raider is potentially a little more playable when the Castellan is not around. So Marine players, we've said it probably, I guess, Haspel, I think it's time for us to reset the clock, but it's a good time on the horizon to be a Space Marine player. I feel like we say that phrase like twice a year, when something that we can kind of cling on to, right? And I feel like this is it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the Castellan itself is getting worse. We can foresee that the next FAQ will probably bring some form of nerf, and
coming down.
the heavy, based on the LVO results and the Nova results and several results from the past year, you can definitely start to look at the writing on the wall and say that if 5 Castellans made it in the top 8 and the other 3 players are all playing Ynnari, then the odds of Ynnari and Castellans getting a nerf are run a little high.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's going to be good for the meta. It's a constant, ever-changing thing that we have going on here. So not only is there assassins on the horizon, but the assassins that are coming out of the Gene Stealer cult book are unprecedented as well. So it's crazy that these things are kind of going almost week to week or within a month of releasing from one another. Sean, these assassins that we're talking about with the Vindicator being able to shoot twice as a stratagem. Also, let's just talk about how good he is real quick before I jump on to the GSC ones. They're just base stat line abilities. What you're saying is that he's going to be able to hit on a 2 with 1 shot. Then long as he's shooting at anything that's not a vehicle, he's going to wound him on a 2, or basic infantry, wound him on a 2. And then he's going to do a mortal wound that doesn't go away until he's rolling the dice. After the attack is resolved, he'll roll a 3 up. You take a mortal wound. If you're still alive, he'll roll a 4 up and then a 5 up. So there's just of wounds that this guy can do. A headshot is unbelievable. GSC is got something very, very similar. The Sanctus, the Alphas, both of these guys are snipers to the caliber that we've yet to see before.
Yeah, I really like the causing perils check on the 1 sniper.
Yeah, the Sanctus
against Psychers.
This cat, right?
I think that could be a really game-changing ability, because a lot of times right now, Psychers are pretty much immune to snipers. They've got invul saves, they've got lots of wounds, they probably have access to some feel no pain, but straight mortals and perils checks, that's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. So to put this guy in perspective, for 60 points, 15 points cheaper than the Imperium version, this cat hits on a 2. His weapon will basically, it doesn't auto things, it's just a base strength, so it's a base strength of 4. He's got quality, I believe. I get the relics because they also have a relic sniper rifle. I believe it is -1 D3 damage. That's what the Sanctus shoots. When you give him the relic weapon, it's -2 AP, and then it is +2 to wound. How sick is that? So he's hitting on a 2, wounding most things on a 2 as well, most psychers, because they're for the most part, they're going to be toughness 3 or 4. So with that +2 to wound, is wounding on 2s. So sick, right? that means that he's still the sniper. So if he does a 6 to wound, then it's a mortal wound. So now with +2 to wound, he's wounding on a 4 up. He does a mortal wound. Then if you fail the -1 save, it's D3 damage. All right, cool. Now that we've done that, his gun special ability, period, says if you are a psyker, dot. If you take a wound, dot, you now, from his weapon whatsoever, you now take a perils check. Kenny, what happens when this cat shoots a weird boy that only has 4 wounds, and I deal 3 wounds to him, and then he now has to take a perils check?
That weird boy better not be standing next to any other characters.
Yo,
when he dies from that perils, he's gonna be popping.
How many times do you play the orc player and it's like boys, dead center 7 characters?
Yeah.
Snap off. He now you got to revert to the main rule book. It says when a character dies from a perils, everybody within 6 inches take D3 mortal wounds. Right? Powerful. So, I mean, the Alphys is doing about the same thing. We've got a gunslinger, the one that has been previewed. Everybody's seen. This cat is uncanny. He gets 6 attacks with his pistols. He's got a relic pistol that's a base 3 shots. So that means just base stat line, he's shooting 7 bullets. For every hit, Kenny, that he gets, and he hits on 2s, for every hits that he gets an extra attack with that weapon. So he hits on 2s. If he rolls no 2s, he gets 7 more hits. So that is 14 dice this man can shoot. That one pistol, that's the relic. I love these relic weapons. Kenny, I can't wait till maybe next week or something we break down this book.
You're gonna be spending all your points on relics, aren't you?
I'm telling you, I would spend more. I can only take 3, and I'm so frustrated that I can only take 3. I would legitimately spend 3 more CP to get 2 more relics. I'd spend 6 points before the game started to get these relics. They're uncanny. You know how we hate relics that are like weapons that are like just help the character? These are like bar none some of the sickest weapons because on the platforms in which they use them. This guy gets to pop up 9 inches away from anybody and shoot, right? His shoot is 12-inch pistols that can target characters that are -2 damage, that on 6s do mortal wounds. His relic weapon, his relic pistol, right, re-rolls to wound. Well, I mean, this dude, Aramon, is dead. He gone, right? Like, pop up. You can spend 3 CP to perfect ambush him, show up 9 inches away, and instead of getting that D6 extra movement, shoot 14 times.
I thought he got the free perfect ambush.
No, that's the Sanctus.
Oh,
the Sanctus gets the free one. So, but he's got a 36-inch range gun. So I haven't figured it out that why I would ever use it on him. I would just deploy the Sanctus, get my shot on turn 1, and then get my shot on turn 2 instead of holding him in reserve, using perfect ambush, and then just try to double tap right then. But no, if he got it, that'd be amazing too. But yeah, these Gene Stealer Colt characters aren't safe, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot of stuff coming out that are gonna
and I feel like really going to put them away. Might be a trend we might look through in the future of books. With if you look at the new Primaris sniper rifles that GW previewed, Primaris Marines with sniper rifles at LVO, maybe GW understands that the character rule is starting to become an issue, and now they want to start introducing more ways for people to kill each other's characters.
What? Character rules are abusive?
So instead of changing the character rule, you give people more tools in order to deal with characters.
It's always the right way to do it. Don't like in this situation. Let's just get more DPS. Let's get more tools. Let's just keep going, and then one day if it's all just too much, let's just season 2. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Let me tell you about something that the Gene Stealer Colt have that take advantage of DPS. They've got a 60-man bike unit. Now we did realize that. Oh, go ahead.
How many men?
It's only 4. 4-man right now. So there was actually, make sure, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the
Eric Truck.
Eric. Shout out Eric to shout out simultaneously Adam Baramovich. So also while we're on that path and we say that name, Sean, there's a big announcement. Huge. The team has a coach.
Team USA is welcoming Adam Abramowitz to be our coach. He is 99% locked in. We keep blasting it on all the platforms to make sure that it's 100%, that he can't back out.
That's it. Shout out Adam. Great job. What a great addition to
the Best
team.
General podcast. His season 2 of his podcast will be starting soon.
Yep. So this is great. The guy is just really, really intelligent. He's in tune. He's a try hard when it comes to not only being good on the table, but then simultaneously being a gentleman's gentleman. So now that we know one of the 6 most powerful units, in my opinion, for the point cost coming out of GSC are these Jackal bikes. Not surprising that this is the new kit. GW did not make the Orc buggy mistake when it comes to making a sick-ass model and then shitty rules to follow them up. GSC has got these bikes coming in at 60 points for 4 of them. For those 4 guys, they all get a demolition charge and a shotgun. 60 points. They're the hardest, some of the hardest to kill units in the game, in the book for GSC. They're toughest 4, 2 wounds, and they're -1 stock to hit. That's just for free. That's what they are, right? So what makes them so good is they have access to 2 stratagems. 1, they can throw 5 demolition charges or up 10 grenades. GSC has that stratagem. Here's your 4-man unit. The reason why we're only taking 4 is because it will not allow us just to take a 5th. We either have to take 4 or 8. Shout out Adam for figuring that out first. So for 4, we get 60 points. 1 CP is spent to say I get to throw all my demolition charges at a single unit. Demolition charges profile is 6-inch range, grenade, D6 number of shots, strength 8, -3, not minus hobo 2, and D3 damage. So 4d6. Pretty sick, right? The weapon or the platform on which is throwing it, the bike, is a ballistic skill 4. Not really that great. You're missing 50% of them. Now, because my bikes and most people's bikes in every detachment in the history of ever, probably the single most used detachment for GST, if people don't want to take it in battalions, is an Outrider detachment of a single Alphas and 3 squads of 4X bikes, all tricked out, just like I said, that's going to run at 240 point or 250 points. The Alphas, when he's at the beginning of the shooting phase, allows you to get a +1 to hit any unit within 36 inches that he can see, period. +1 to hit. Not shooting, not something that you can deny, not something that can fail, +1 to hit. Boom. Now my bike trick is going to hit on 3s. Now remember I told you Rusted Claw is the best because it has its special stratagem. Its unique special stratagem is a +1 to hit. Seems good. +1 to wound. Wow. 1 CP. We're not done. Kenny, it ain't over. At the end of you unloading all your charges, you get to make, the unit gets to make a move as if it's the movement phase. That's a treefer. You get a +1 to hit, +1 to wound, and move as if it's the movement phase after you throw your charges. So for anybody who's tracking, that is now we have a combo where these 4 demolition charges are going to be thrown at something, 4d6, hitting on 2s, strength 8, +1 to wound. So wounding everything in the game on a 2, unless you're toughness 8, you're going to be wounding on 3s. Now, how do we get them there? They have a base 14 move. That's good, right? Let's come up with another strat. They have a strat, 2 CP, says you show up, biker infantry, show up 3 inches away from an enemy. So for the low, cheap cost of 4 CP, you are going to, as long as your Jackal is around, your Alphas, right, within 12 inches to get that +1, right? Like, if not, just hit on 3s. It's fine. It is absolutely devastating for 60 points.
60-point unit that can ace a big old unit of multi-wound models.
Anything.
Pretty good.
Rhinos are dead. any kind of that chassis, whoever you put out front. Remember, this unit can show up 3 inches in any direction. They're showing up 3 inches in your backfield. Now, I'm not just saying just your front lines. It's pretty sick. I'm really
impressed. Cults are definitely going to change how people screen, because usually the backfield of most armies is a very loose 9 inches, 10 inches, because most units can't fit back there. When you start incorporating small units that can show up 3 inches from the enemy, then that's really going to change how screening works across multiple platforms across every army. So,
what about the Ambull? I mean, what are you going to do about the Ambull?
What I'm going to do about the Ambull, Rob, is you order a couple and tell me how they go.
Pass.
I'll let you break the secret techniques of running the Ambulls. That's a lot of exciting information coming out of G's of the Occult. Obviously, G's of the Occult is going to be the hypest shit. We've said it here in this podcast before. It's going to be, last year, changed the game.
Change the game. I've been saying it. I really think that they're going to change the face of 40K.
And their rules certainly are unique enough to support that statement. So another not too early to call situation where we're right. We're right.
You heard
about,
it here first.
Right about dreadnoughts getting toughness values. Right about vehicles going to toughness. Right about G's of the Occult being the best army in 40K.
In the history of ever.
Of all time.
First.
right about Sean Naden being Renaissance Man at LVO 2019.
Kenny, I don't know if you heard this stat before, if you knew this. There's a gentleman who has attended 5 consecutive LVOs. This same gentleman has made it to the top 8 in 5 consecutive LVOs. This man has made Ren Man 2 consecutive years. That's powerful.
So that basically, like I said, I talked about this in the tactics class, Sean. Remember who I compared you to?
No.
Hathor Bjornsson.
Oh yeah. From I
was like, I don't know if you follow World Strongman competitions like as fanatically as I do Demon Princes, but my man is, plays the mountain on Game of Thrones. He's been so many years podium, second place, second strongest man, blah, blah, blah. Literally nonstop. If you can't, this guy's a gatekeeper. You can't be there if you can't be as strong as him. He finally just won. He's the strongest man in the world. So I'm just saying, Sean Naden, future strongest man in the world, 2020.
Coming back strong.
Yep.
He is Thor.
Side note, I saw where Bronson eats 10,000 calories a day.
Bjornsson. Yeah.
Bjornsson.
Yeah, he also works out so hard, he got Bell's palsy. So I'm not saying you should do anything that guy does. I don't think that's why he got it, but he did get half his face paralyzed, and he still was the strongest man in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, he's up there, like, half his face doesn't work, lifting 1 billion pounds. I'm like, that. When I look at him, I just see Sean Naden now. And he's even the same build. He's like 6'9", 480 pounds or some shit. That's basically Sean.
Yeah, I'm basically that big.
Sean won't even like crouch down next to me to take a selfie. He just makes it ridiculous.
I had to take the camera when we did it, right? So that I could get us all in. All in
like,
frame.
Oh, come on, man. him and Rob on like my left side, and I'm all just down here. I'm like, oh God.
You look like a small child next to us.
Everybody, yes. And everybody I took a selfie with that weekend who happened to be shorter than me, which is only a couple people, I crouched down to get a good picture, a good frame, because I don't compromise design. You guys just like, look at this midget. Yeah.
Well, when we're all sitting here on the show, everyone thinks we're the same height.
Yeah, the camera minus is like 2 feet on some of us.
Well, it's supposed to make us bigger, but suddenly I'm looking at myself in this camera and I'm like, God, man, what happened to me? Do I look sick? Do I look sick to people out there?
You look like you've been sick for a week or a year.
It's brutal. It's
You
brutal.
may want to check your immune system.
I don't have to. I know it's bad. it's not good. I got super sick, guys. That's why I wasn't here last week. Couldn't edit the podcast. Couldn't put out painting content. Nothing. It was brutal. But we're back. LVO was hype. We got the Ren Man here, which is actually the realest award at LVO. Because you have to crush it, hobby, and on the table.
Yeah, I felt pretty good when they called me for second looks in paint, and I was like, they're like, oh, you're one of the people with a max paint score. I was like, I worked so hard. I checked your paint rubric. I checked all the boxes. I made handmade banners to cover hobby sections of that, and to just have everything go that way was great.
It's amazing, brother. Congratulations. But we did it. So for the first time, and it feels like a long time, I'm going to turn it over to Rob because I can't do the end part of the show.
Computer,
Rob, will you please make the computer talk?
Suddenly I feel like Sigourney Weaver. Haspel, take us out of here.
After the First World War, Shandor decided that society was too sick to survive, and he wasn't alone. He had close to 1,000 followers when he died. They conducted rituals on the roof, bizarre rituals, intended to bring about the end of the world. And now, it looks like it might actually happen.